Dear colleagues, Ministry of Defense spokesperson Mr. Vilyen Pidgornyy will speak on Russian military aggression in eastern Ukraine. Mr. Pidgornyy, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to provide you with a weekly update on the events related to the military conflict and Russian aggression against Ukraine between October 10th and 16th. Last week was marked by an uptick of ceasefire violations committed by Russia-backed militants in Luhansk and Mariupol sector, with a certain decrease of hostile activities in the Donetsk sector. Overall, the number of hostilities ranged between 25 on October 13th at the lowest point and all the way up to 61 on October 16th at its highest. Russian proxy forces intensified the use of heavy weapons banned by Minsk agreements, particularly the 82mm and 120mm mortars and 120mm and 152mm artillery. We also observed hostile tank fire. Mariupol sector was the target of the largest number of hostile attacks, use of heavy weapons, and the most extensive geography of ceasefire violations. Most of them focused along the front line that stretches from Mar'inka and Krasnohorivka all the way to Talakivka and Shirokino village, which are located on the Azov Sea coast. The latter saw the biggest military action in the whole week. The militants fired 320 rounds from heavy weapons at Ukrainian armed forces by Shirokino. We want to emphasize the fact that the militants have used heavy weapons on the Mariupol sector every single day. This is a gross violation of the first two fundamental clauses of the Minsk agreements. In the Luhansk sector, Novoalexandrivka and Novozvanivka, there were the two major flashpoints. The intensity of ceasefire violations increased considerably on October 16th, as the militants expanded the area of military action to include the village of Krymsky, Tryokhizbenka, and Popasne. By contrast, the number of ceasefire violations in the Donetsk sector was significantly lower. The militants' activities have been focused on Avdiivka area of Gorlivka perimeter. Last week, 3 Ukrainian servicemen were killed in action, 31 were wounded in action, and 4 more suffered concussions. These numbers include the casualties of booby trap explosions. 1 was killed and 4 were wounded. Our hearts go out to the families and friends of the fallen Ukrainian heroes. Over the last week, 2 civilians were injured as a result of military action. A male adult was injured in Zolote, Luhansk sector, during artillery shelling launched by Russia-backed militants. Another victim was a female resident of Mar'inka, Mariupol sector, who was also injured by a booby trap explosion. Both people received medical treatment. 24 infrastructure facilities were damaged due to hostile shellings in Zolote, Popasne, Avdiivka, and Mar'inka. Out of these, 17 are residential buildings, Popasna Hospital, and a local emergency service office in Mar'inka. Over the week, Ukrainian authorities facilitated access and safe passage through government checkpoints on the contact line of 109 trucks loaded with humanitarian aid for civilians living in the militant-held areas in eastern Ukraine. The total payload of the aid exceeds 2,000 tons. It includes regular food products, baby food, hygiene products, and other essentials. Humanitarian assistance was provided by the International Committee of the Red Cross, as well as by Ukrainian and foreign charity foundations. Yesterday, on October 16th, one of the Russian proxy commanders, 33-year-old Arsen Pavlov, also known as Motorola, was killed in Donetsk. The incident was the result of the detonation of the improvised explosive device in the elevator of the residential building where he lived. Arsen Pavlov, citizen of the Russian Federation, was born in the Komi Republic, Russian Federation. He used to participate in the Second Chechen War on the side of the Russian forces. In the spring of 2014, Motorola was among those who tried to launch an armed mutiny in Kharkiv. Once it failed, he joined the ranks of the Russia-backed militants and fought against Ukrainian troops, particularly in the area of Slaviansk, as well as in the battles of Savur-Mohyla and Donetsk Airport. Russian state-run media and propaganda made Motorola an iconic figure in the separatist movement. A sort of a Russian dream, ordinary worker and Chechen War veteran who transformed into the so-called colonel in the Russian hybrid army, decorated with numerous awards offered by the occupational administration. However, he was not part of the Russia's proxy army military brass, and several leadership positions occupied by Russian regulars. In 2015 and 2016, the lion's share of field commanders who emerged at an onset of Russian aggression in 2014 have either retired or died under mysterious circumstances. Motorola was a suspect in committing war crimes, such as tortures of civilians and Ukrainian soldiers and marauding of civilian households. The most cynical and violent act was a murder of an injured Ukrainian soldier, Igor Branovitsky, who defended the Donetsk airport. The Ukrainian soldier was captured by the militants and later killed by Motorola. The crime had been confirmed by Amnesty International and Pavlov himself when he confessed to his murders to a Ukrainian journalist. Thus, his incidental death prevented a fair trial, which would have included a long list of crimes. That'll be all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pidgornyy. At this point, the press conference is finished. Looking forward to seeing you here next Monday.
Thank you.